holding on to other people's anxieties. Stop holding on to your parents' anxieties. Stop holding on to your guardian, cousin, friend, best friend. Yes, they want the best for you, but in the end, you know what's best for yourself. And it's up to you to set those boundaries and stop letting people influence your life more than they're supposed to. Start setting boundaries now.
They don't know how good it feels now. I can't lie, it's good to hit that. Calling me, baby. The streets been calling me.
Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to do a vlog this morning. I woke up thinking about something that I really wanted to talk about because this has been on my mind for like a week straight. More than a week, but I feel like I really knew what was going on for a week. And I really want to talk about it because I know that other people are struggling with the same thing. So I'll just tell you guys my personal experience about what's been going on. So recently I started realizing, I guess we're just going to hop right into it. Hi, I'm Raina. Welcome to my channel. Sorry. So recently I've been realizing that I let other people's emotions, and I have my notes right here because I wanted to be able to explain it to you guys in depth, and trying to explain it off the top of my head is just not gonna get everything completely. So if you see me looking down, like that's what I'm doing. But recently I started realizing that I let other people's like emotions and beliefs affect me entirely too much, to the point where I know that I have certain like goals and aspirations for myself. I know that there are certain like, again, goals and things that I want to hit, but I always feel something in the way. And I feel almost like emotions or fears that don't feel like they belong to me at all. And it's the weirdest feeling. And I always get caught in this cycle of feeling kind of disappointed in myself and kind of being super hard on myself. Like, why can't you just do this? Why can't you just get over this? Like, it's not even that big of a deal. I constantly feel these limiting beliefs and fears that keep me from reaching my full potential or keep me from showing my full self or like my real self online. And one of the things that sparked it for me and like that really kind of brought everything to the surface was modeling. I took up modeling recently and it's been fun. It's been great. Like, I've met a lot of cool people, had a lot of cool experiences, but especially in the beginning, right? I was nervous every time I went to a casting, every time I went somewhere where I had to take pictures in front of people, or I had to do like a runway walk or something. I was so nervous all the time. And if you would have asked like 10-year-old me, 15-year-old me, 20-year-old me, these are things that I've been wanting to do. Modeling has been on the list for a long time, but I haven't done it. There are other things that have been on the list for a long time. YouTube was one of them. But I was scared and waited so long. And even, you know, like while I was having those experiences, I was scared. And I was so frustrated because I was like, where is this stuff coming from? And so I was sitting in the car recently and I don't know where this like memory came from. But I remember where the memory came from because it stayed with me since then. But I remember when I was little, right? You know, like you always go with a parent or family member somewhere, and I was with this particular family member, and everywhere we go, like people would just stop like, oh, she's so cute, she's so beautiful, she's so blah blah blah. And you know, people usually tell little kids that, but at the time, like, it was a completely innocent question. When I asked this family member, like, why do they always call me cute? Why do they always call me beautiful? And I could see how it would sound off, but literally as a kid, it's an innocent question. It's not, you know, meant to be a vain thing. But I remember this family member looking at me and being like, never let anybody hear you say that. Never call yourself that because they're gonna think that you're vain. And I remember that sticking with me since then. I was young. I definitely had to be younger than like 6. I was like 5 or 6. And growing up, that's the only thing that I ever thought about, you know? And so I grew up hating being in front of people and getting stares from people and, you know, having people's eyes on me. I always felt super uncomfortable with it because I thought that if I acknowledged, like, yeah, you know, like, I know I'm attractive, I know that, I always get uncomfortable kind of explaining this. And to me, it was always just uncomfortable because from a young age, I was taught, like, anything having to do with your beauty and kind of using it for something is considered vain. Acknowledging that you're confident, that you know that you're attractive, acknowledging anything having to do with beauty makes you vain. At least that's how I took it as a kid. And I know that's not how she meant it. I know that it wasn't malicious, but as a little kid that takes everything at face value, that's exactly how I took it. And so I grew up thinking that way. And so I will say that, like, at a young age, I wish that was something that was defined a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that I had gotten a little bit more clarity on that, because I was like 5 or 6. I'm 25 now. That was, oh, I feel old. That was near 20 years ago. And I'm just now realizing that that is not true. It's not true. And again, it was coming from somebody who probably heard the same thing growing up, whose confidence was probably still a little bit shaken, who didn't feel completely confident in themselves at the time. And even though they were projecting, it wasn't like a malicious thing at all. And so, of course, like I said, when you're little, you can't dissect things like that. I think that's why I'm like hypersensitive with analyzing things now and people and all that. But I feel like in all of this, it's important to understand that the person who put that on you, a lot of times it has something to do, everything to do with how they've experienced life, how they've lived their life, what they've learned from life, but that still doesn't necessarily mean that it applies to you. So that's my little note. And so a lot of my goals and aspirations have to do with being in front of people, talking to people. Modeling is one of them, being on YouTube, talking about life is one of them. And I have a couple other ones, but just in general, like, they require me to be in front of people pretty often. And so, like I said, whenever I was modeling, I started to get scared, and I always started to tense up, and I used to get frustrated with myself because I was like, how can you have these goals, but your fear is like this prominent whenever you do things like this and participate in opportunities like this. And then after I sat with it for a while, there was also like a call with this family member recently that just kind of like made it all click for me that those weren't my emotions. Those were somebody else's emotions that I had picked up along the way when I was little, growing up. They were instilled in me when I was younger, but those emotions have nothing to do with me. Like, they had nothing to do with me, but I was still letting them affect how I decided to go about life. And so it's crazy because if somebody were to ask me like, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I have this whole idea of where I want to be in 5 years, the type of person that I want to be, just overall, like where I want to be in life, right? And to be in that place in life, I know that I have to be a certain type of person. I know it requires growth from me as a person, and all these like little negative traits, those aren't there. Those aren't a part of who I am as a person in 5 years, because those limiting beliefs are the ones that I have now are stopping me from being in that place and becoming that person who's gonna be there in 5 years. And so I feel like to get there, right, you have to put yourself into this state of thinking, the state of mind of, I know what I want for myself. I know exactly where I want to be. I'm surrounded by people, yes, who care about me, but at the same time, they don't know me better than I know myself. And so then, like, the whole thing got me thinking, as parents, because I have the best parents in the world. Let me just say that, like, nobody's absolutely perfect, but I love my parents to death, and they did the best job. They were some of the best parents in the world, but even the best parents aren't perfect, right? Even then, like, parents try to give you the best of themselves. They try to do the absolute best they can and put all those values into you and bring you up to become like a decent human being. And so when we get older, I feel like, you know, as we move into young adulthood, into our mid and, you know, like late 20s or whatever, now it's our job to kind of raise ourselves again and deconstruct and reconstruct based on the things that we've learned are beneficial and the things that are detrimental to like who we want to be as people. All right, so I have my computer here. So if you see me looking down, that's why. I have it in my notes just because like I don't want to, you know, like leave out anything when I'm talking to you guys. But when you're in your 20s and you're trying to like fulfill a goal, You have to like deconstruct and reconstruct yourself based on what's beneficial for you and what's been hurting you. You know, like what's been stopping you from getting to your goals, what's been stopping you from becoming the person that you want to be, because ultimately that person is going to be the one to get you to where you want to go, right? Change is needed. And we almost have to reparent ourselves, because our parents do the absolute best they can raising us. Like I said, they take the best parts of themselves. They do the absolute best they can. So as you're in this process of like changing and reconstructing and deconstructing and building yourself back up again and taking on traits that'll help you in the future, getting rid of all the things that aren't needed, you also have to do a good job at like blocking other people and other people's ideas of you out. You cannot allow this plane. You cannot allow people to put you in a box. You can't allow people to say, hey, you're this person, you're this and this, and then allow them to kind of like stick you in a category where you don't belong. Because that right there is allowing people to put things onto you that you had no business even taking to begin with. That had nothing to do with you. And as people try to like throw their labels on you and try to throw their emotions and beliefs on you, you have to know that the only things that'll stick to you are what you allow to stick. And so if you allow the negative things to stick, if you allow people's beliefs to stick, that's exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to start to affect your life. And I know it's hard because as we get older, it's a lot easier to differentiate what's good for you, like what's beneficial for you versus what's not good for you, what's negative or like detrimental to your well-being, to your mental health, to who you want to be in the future. But I feel like we're so hard on ourselves for the things that we've learned when we were little, like the things that were ingrained, like the things, the values that were ingrained in us from the times that we were little, like younger. And all that has to do with like self-esteem, relationships, friendships, just like attachments in general. A lot of those things are so deep rooted and deeply ingrained in you that you probably won't be able to pick those out like, yeah, that's the problem, unless there's an event that triggers it. Or like, unless there's something that happens that makes you think about it like, yeah, that part of my childhood was a problem. That value or that thing that I picked up during childhood was a problem, and I need to fix that. Because I cannot tell you how many times I've ended up in situations, modeling being one of them, where I was standing there low-key like ruining it for myself because I thought that I didn't deserve to be there. Or I thought that I needed more, not experience, but I needed to be in a different mental state to be able to like enjoy it fully or be able to like take full advantage of the experience. And I almost cheated myself out of an experience. I almost like sabotaged myself out of an experience because I thought that this wasn't me at the time. I was too attached to the anxiety and the fear that had been instilled in me since I was little, right? And so I literally had to give myself a pep talk in the mirror, like, this is who you are now. You need to start embracing it to be able to flourish in it, because treating yourself and the situation like you don't belong there is literally going to ruin it for yourself. And that goes for you guys too. Do not ruin it for yourself. You are where you are now. It didn't happen by accident. So start becoming that person. I know it's not going to be easy at all to let go of those fears, but just even if you have to act like a different person for the day, just to see what it would be like to let those fears go for a little bit would be so beneficial. And again, you ruin it for yourself by acting like you don't belong, because you do. If this was your dream, if this is something that you've been meaning to do, if this is something that's been on your goal list for the longest time, you belong there. This is what you've been wanting to do. You were literally made for this. But for some reason, you're trying to live your life with somebody else's fears attached. And let me tell you, that is a recipe for failure. And I've been through it. I'm going through it now. Like, anytime I try to approach something with somebody else's fears and anxiety and all that attached, it's not good. It's not good for myself mentally. I'll just say that. The only person you're sabotaging by holding on to other people's fears and anxiety is yourself. Don't screw yourself over, because it's not a good feeling. And you want to be able to enjoy these opportunities that come to you. You want to be able to, like fully embrace it and not feel anxiety. You deserve not to feel anxiety every time you do something, you know what I mean? Or do something that was on your list for the longest time. That should be a happy time, not one that's full of anxiety. So with these things, I would encourage you guys to ask yourselves, because I had to do the same thing. And this is how I found out that like this anxiety and this fear and all that, I did take it on voluntarily. I will say, like, nobody forces you to hold on to anything. Like I said, the only things that stick are what you allow to stick. But when we're little, we don't know any better. But we've still allowed them to stick. So it's our responsibility to get rid of them and not have them stick anymore. But one thing I would encourage you guys to do is ask yourself, like, what fears or limiting beliefs you hold on to that you feel like aren't really a part of you. Like, every time you feel them, you know that those emotions, you feel like they don't belong to you. What emotions do you feel? And if you can't exactly pinpoint where they're coming from, where have you heard it before? Or like when you hear a family member or somebody close to you talk, do you hear it from them? And if you do, that might be a good indicator that that's where it came from. And so you can start working backwards from there. I tricked myself into thinking that those thoughts were protecting me, that it was for the better. And to be honest, it was sabotaging me like crazy. And because of my perfectionism, because I like to maintain a sense of control over everything, I was feeling like disappointment, or like the feeling of disappointment was more familiar to me than what would happen if I just let go of all of it. And that's another, we'll talk about perfectionism another time. I'm just going to repeat this one more time because I feel like a lot of people need to hear it. And this is literally like, I'm going to write this down and put it around my apartment because this is something that I need to remember for sure. Trying to live your life and fulfill your own goals with somebody else's fears and negative beliefs attached is a recipe for failure. So stop trying to do it, because all you'll end up doing is self-sabotaging and living a life that makes you feel limited and like you aren't reaching your full potential. You deserve to reach your full potential. You deserve to let go of all those negative things that aren't serving you so you could go ahead and just level up in your life in general. Stop holding on to other people's anxieties. Stop holding on to your parents' anxieties. Stop holding on to your guardian, cousin, friend, best friend. Yes, they want the best for you, but in the end, you know what's best for yourself. And it's up to you to set those boundaries and stop letting people influence your life more than they're supposed to. Start setting boundaries now. That was it. That was an intense little talk for the morning. Pep Talks with Ray. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's it for this morning. And I guess we're gonna get the day started, right? It's kind of late in the day now. It's like 11 something, but I'm probably gonna run some errands and then go to the gym. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Let me turn the music down. Okay, I want to show you guys something really quick because I was so excited about these. I got these for like $7, I think, $8. $7, $6.99. Look at how cute. I'm telling you, TJ Maxx, what is it? TJ Maxx, Ross, whichever one I went to, is the plug for glasses. Look at these. Not me staring into the camera, I'm sorry. I feel like I stare into your soul every time I show you guys. But tell me these aren't cute. Oh my gosh. I saw these. I don't even drink liquor like that. Like, not, especially not dark liquor. I'm more of a wine person. But I saw these and I was like, I need them. Look at how beautiful. Oh my gosh. So they came in a pack of 4. I'm gonna put them away really quick, but I just want to show you guys the little things. All right, that's enough before I get copywritten. Jeez. really need to go to the grocery store because I was gonna make myself an omelet this morning, but then I realized I didn't have any of the stuff to make an omelet. So we're gonna make a grocery store run part of like all the errands we're running today. But I just made myself some, ooh. Accidentally spilled it, hold on.
Oh, you want to talk. How many times have I asked you to try my mother's blood sausages?
Totally different. That's disgusting.
That is disgusting.
All right, ooh, dang. I almost misstepped. Okay, so I am getting ready to go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the one that's close by my apartment because I don't really feel like driving to Alphaland. I don't know why I'm acting like I don't need an SD card either, because if this runs out while I'm out, I'm fucked. Y'all are about to get it all in this vlog because my life right now, I feel like I'm missing or like excluding a huge part of my life if I don't talk about this right now. And this is literally what I think about every time I go into the gym now, so that's why I'm mentioning it. But if you guys have heard anything about the Twitter stuff, you know that Elon Musk took over and then he just started firing everybody from Twitter. Twitter didn't have much of a choice. So, you know, I mean, like what happened. And the first time they fired like the full-time employees, and then they came back around and fired all the contractors. And I was part of that contractor group. And it's Monday. So the reason why I'm going to the gym at 1:46 on a Monday is because I am no longer working. I'm getting paid for today, but I'm no longer working. And it's a weird thing because I feel like the next chapter of my life has started. My intuition is usually pretty good too, and if something like this had happened and it wasn't supposed to happen, and you know, like I was scared for what's next, I would feel it. But for some reason I don't. I feel excited. I feel happy that I could work on my YouTube stuff and actually give it my full attention. So that's what's happening today. That's my life update. I'll talk about it later, but no, I'm not upset. I'm not sad. I'm more so sad because I love the people and my coworkers who are working there. They're amazing people with like crazy amounts of talent and charisma, and passion. They know what they're doing. And so I will miss them, but the company altogether, I think I'll get over it. Like it's not that big of a deal to me. I feel the pre-workout in my fingertips. So I'm gonna go to the gym. We'll talk about this later. I think that's how much I'm gonna use in it. Yo, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, the powder. One thing I don't like about this, look at how messy the top gets. I feel like I get powdered. Here we go. Let me open this over the sink. I feel like I get powder everywhere when I do this. Okay. No. One day I'll figure out a cleaner way to do this, because look at my hands right now. Go. Ugh. I'm gonna get this everywhere. I feel like I'm going to war with this protein thing every time I try to make a smoothie or like a shake. Jeez. I'm gonna shake it up. So I'm back from my workout and I didn't even feel like making lunch, so I just got myself Chipotle because I know I need to eat and I don't feel like preparing like a full-on lunch.
You're gonna get the gift today, right?
Veggie bowl with no chicken.
No, I have a husband to do that. They fell in love with this very specific turquoise Italian glass bowl. I looked everywhere, finally found. To me, Houston has some of the prettiest sunsets. Like Maryland sunsets were nice, but I really like Houston sunsets too. So I don't mind like driving and listening to music while the sun is going down. So my thing is making noise. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't mind driving while the sun is going down because it's so pretty. Like it puts me in such a good mood even if I'm waiting in traffic. So yes, I deal with traffic every time I drive over to this specific gym, but it doesn't matter to me because the sunsets are worth it. So that's about it. I'm heading to Alphaland just to work on some stuff and see some people. So I'll talk to you guys when I'm there.
Okay, so I know the fries look a little off for breakfast, but usually I like to have some kind of like carb or potatoes. Usually I do like tater tots or what's it called, like diced potatoes, but I didn't have them today, so sweet potatoes, and then I have vegan yogurt and grapes and an omelet. Nice and healthy. I need to start doing deep conditioning treatments again because I completely forgot how healthy this made my hair feel. Headphones. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I listen to music literally all the time. And I'm just gonna wear headphones today while I talk to you guys because I'm not trying to be copywritten in the future. So let me show you guys in the mirror. Rice that I made on the bottom, a pre-made like black bean chili, organic black bean chili that I got from Whole Foods, and then I put green peppers on top, not green peppers, oh my gosh, green onions, cilantro, and vegan cheese on top. And the reason why I use this is because it has a whole lot of protein. Let's see. The whole can has like 20 grams of protein. I'm kind of glad I haven't showered yet, because I'm about to leave the house to go to FedEx. That printer that I got yesterday, my counter's all messy. That printer that I got yesterday, I'm glad I got a printer just to be able to like print out documents and all that. But for color, that printer is not it. So I'm about to put on my shoes, go to FedEx, see if I can print like a large file from there, and then I'm gonna go to Target to get some food stuff because tomorrow I'm gonna film what I eat in a day. And so I have everything here, I'm pretty sure, except for the turkey bacon for tomorrow. Let me check how many eggs I have. This is my problem, I get sidetracked too easily. Okay. I have eggs. So it looks like I have everything I need to be able to make an omelet tomorrow. What else do I need? I probably should have written out what I was gonna make tomorrow. Whatever, we'll see. All right, so the vision board stuff, I had to make sure my my camera wasn't falling. The vision board stuff has been secured. So next thing I'm gonna do, this is like this is exactly why I hate printing at FedEx. I'm not complaining because these pages are A1, the ink is A1, all the pictures look good, they're nice and clear. But 8 pages was like $8, which I feel ripped off, but it's fine. It's worth it because it's gonna sit around. I'm gonna have to look at it for months. So the next thing we're gonna do is go to Target and make sure that we get everything I need for tomorrow to make the what I eat in a day. This is how I'm gonna end out my night. I'm basically just gonna make a vision board and address the elephant in the room. If you guys have been watching this vlog like the whole way through, about me and my Twitter job and getting laid off. And so I'm just gonna tell you guys a little bit about what happened. Nothing about the company because legally that would bring up issues, but just about kind of like what happened in my situation, how I'm feeling now, like just like everything surrounding that, I guess. And while I do that, I'm just gonna cut out all these little things for my vision board. It's not funny. It's not funny. Let me stop laughing. But basically what happened was, you know, like of course there were a bunch of layoffs And the way that my group found out was we were all just kind of locked out of Slack. And Slack is like the main thing we use to communicate. Like, we were just locked out of it one day, and it was on a weekend. And so, you know, like, we all texted each other, like, hey, did you get locked out? Is everything good? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm locked out of mine. You know what that means. And basically, like, it went around Twitter. This information was public, which is why I feel fine sharing it now. But basically, like, as opposed to getting an email or anything like that, people were pretty much just getting locked out of their computers and their accounts and everything. And that's how people were finding out that they were fired. And so, like I said, with my group, with the contractors, that's basically what happened. It happened, I think, on a Saturday. Or maybe it was on a Friday. It happened on a Friday or Saturday. And I feel like all of us, though, I don't think anybody was really like, wow. I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked. I don't know how this happened. But just in general, like, I feel like all of us were kind of relieved because for the longest time, we were holding on, not knowing whether or not we'd be fired for, I think, like 2 weeks. 1 or 2 weeks straight. And it was kind of stressful, you know, because you constantly kind of live with fear and anxiety. And, you know, like, we were working on a couple of projects and we had no idea whether or not we were going to be fired the next day. So, you know, like, we were working on these projects with no real knowledge of, like, where they were going, if they were even going to go out anywhere. Everybody was just kind of, like, lost. So after we all got fired, basically, it was such a beautiful thing, because here's the thing about Twitter. So I love my job, and I understand that I was blessed enough, privileged enough to be in a position that I genuinely loved. And so for that, like, I'm not going to sit here and be mad about, oh, well, I feel like I was kicked out too late, or not too late. I feel like this is so unfair. I'm getting kicked out, you know, like, this timing just sucks and blah, blah, blah. I really can't sit here and be mad. I genuinely can't sit here and be mad, because during my time there, which was it was going on 2 years. It was a little more than a year and a half. I met some of the most amazing, talented, kind-hearted, passionate people. And it's crazy to see, because after everything happened, like, there were basically, like, waves of people that got laid off. It was crazy to see how everybody just kind of banded together to help each other. Because even though, like, I'm in a good position financially, I didn't really have to worry about getting laid off. I knew that it was going to be good for a while. I also don't want to be insensitive to the people who had visas, you know, and could only stay in the country they were working for Twitter and got let go. So I definitely feel for those people, but personally, like, I could not be mad that, of course, like, it was kind of messed up the way that it ended, yeah, but at the same time, like, we all still stay in touch with each other. You know, we still have group chats, we still talk to each other, we still check in on each other. Sometimes we do, what's it called? Oh my gosh, why am I blinking? Space, oh my gosh. We still do, like, spaces and all that, where, like, literally there were thousands of people who were let go. It wasn't just, like, our group wasn't singled out. I think, like, the whole company is getting cleared out, but we still do spaces and everything. And it's crazy because we formed, like, a family unit while being there. And this was the first job where I genuinely felt like my coworkers and, like, the people that I was working with were family. And so sometimes we'll get on spaces and everything, and, you know, you hear people who haven't really heard each other's voices in a while, and they're like, I miss your voice, you know? And it's crazy because even when all of us talk to each other, I feel like everybody has this sense of hope. And while they're still sad, and while they're going to be missing the work that they did, because I will say that I don't think there's ever going to be anything like Twitter. A lot of people were passionate about it. There was a lot of great, impactful work being done. And, you know, there were people, all of us just kind of went hard for it. But at the same time, I feel like there's just, like, a shared sense of hope, knowing that everything is going to be fine. All of us are going to be good, that we all still have each other. So in terms of networking, jobs, opportunities, like, all of us are still making sure that everybody's covered, everybody's good. But I feel very blessed to be, like, in a space like that. And even though it ended the way it did, to still have like that support system and that network and everything like that. But also just in general, the day that I found out, I wasn't sad. Like, I expected to be upset. I expected to like grieve my job at least a little bit. And I feel like that whole stage happened during that uncertain period between, you know, like the 1 and 2 weeks. I feel like that's when I was kind of grieving my job. But as soon as it happened, like I said, I wasn't surprised. I was excited because there are so many other things, and I know I don't share it. I'm not on social media that much. As I start to like share things on social media, you guys will see all the other things that I have going on. But I feel like I have so many other things going on in my life right now that I'm now able to like pour all my effort to, at least for right now. Like I said, I do eventually plan on finding another job, but there are so many other things that I just needed time off to work on. And so I feel like if I get like a couple weeks or like a month to myself minimum, I'll see how everything works out. Like I'll figure it out on the back end. But until then, I feel like this time is super valuable, you know? You guys are gonna see a huge change in the consistency of videos that I upload. It's probably gonna be like once a week. I know this week is gonna be twice a week. So one of the main reasons that I'm making this vision board too is because during this period, like, I want to use this to the best of my ability. I want to take advantage, like full advantage of this time. And so to me, taking full advantage of this time looks like resetting my goals for myself and like getting clear on, like I was talking about before, like where I am now, where I'm going, where I want to be, and actually taking accountability for it. But one of the reasons why I make vision boards is because I want to be clear on where I'm going. And I feel like to keep this like not just motivation, because you're not always gonna have motivation, but to keep my direction clear and just keep my head on straight as to like where I want to go, where I'm going, and just kind of setting intention behind the direction I do decide to go in. I feel like vision boards are amazing for that. I don't know, just in general, if you're gonna keep yourself disciplined, because one thing I've learned throughout this process is motivation is a lie. You will not be motivated 24/7. In general, I feel like it's discipline that carries you through everything. So in order to stay disciplined, I feel like you have to have a really strong reason why you're doing everything. What I put on my vision boards definitely gives me a strong why. So, but that's it. I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. I don't even know what this was. If you are watching till I have something in my eye. If you're still watching, if you watch this all the way through, I promise my vlogs will be more like, they'll have more of a progression next time. I feel like this was just a lot of me just like ranting to the camera. Thank you guys again for watching. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you agreed with anything that I said down in the comments, or you want to talk about some of it, or even like, I don't know. Look, one thing this channel I feel like is gonna turn into is people, and like I said, no, I have a video, what is it, like in my intro channel video, right? Or like the welcome to my channel intro video. I already made it clear that this channel is gonna be one where we're all gonna be vulnerable. We're not gonna be ashamed of what's going on at all. If you guys are in similar situations or you find yourself just kind of struggling with any of the things I've talked about, definitely feel free to comment and we can have like a back and forth on it. There's so many other people a lot of times that are in the same situation or feel the same way you do. And for some reason, some people feel ashamed to talk about it. I'm not embarrassed at all, because when I end up where I end up and I end up accomplishing all my goals and, you know, like I'm further along, I personally want to look back on these videos and be like, wow, I remember the time I was in this situation. I remember the time I felt like that. And there's so many other people going through the same situations. So what we're not going to do on this channel is flex like everything's perfect, everything's good, life is good. You know, we never have any problems. We never have any mental hurdles. Like, this is what this channel is about. And I will say that as I've been making these videos and like, you know, just been talking to you guys about all these things, I'm really proud of myself too for being so transparent and being able to articulate it. Because again, like I've had conversations like this with people in real life. That's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Good night.